The proud thing, actually, our ingredients are from Namibia. I've been working quite a lot with the World Food Program, and I am endorsed by the United Nations. I've worked with their food scientists as well, and I am in touch with a lot of our farmers countrywide. And because I've worked also for an agro-marketing and trade agency, I have a knowledge of what's happening in the community. And one of the things that we do with farmers is also educate them on what to produce, because for the longest time, again, Namibian farmers would produce only what they were used to, staple products. But now, with commercializing products and also with companies like ours, we are able to advise them on what they can produce that can be able to also generate income for them.
Very good, very good. And then when you make the juices now, do you do that locally?
Yes, everything is done locally.
Okay.
The only thing that's not produced, unfortunately, locally is the packaging.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm sure Namibia eventually is going to get there where we'll be able to produce the packaging also locally. But everything is done here. The labeling, everything, the juicing and the packaging is done locally.
You've been in the fitness and wellness business for some time.
Yeah.
How did you get started?
It all started really. I was working. I have to give credit to Virgin Active. Richard Branson was my boss.
Okay.
Okay. So I've learned quite a lot when I was working for Virgin Active as an athlete, because I've interacted with. At that time, I interacted with a lot of international people. So I learned on how things are done. Now I had to add a touch that is more fitting the Namibian economy and also the Namibian community and adaptability. So when I was off season as an athlete, it was difficult for me to find nutritional meals. Of course, with Virgin Active, they offer fitness programs, which is really good. So I ended up coming up with methods of body mass training. Of course, then it's clashing, because then when I'm teaching people physical activities, you need to be able to use your body for you to train yourself. Of course, the machines do help at times, but sometimes if you don't have access to the gym, you need then programs like the ones that I offer. So that's how it started. And the nutrition came in when I realized that as much as I was giving proper fitness programs to people, some of them were not seeing the results as they should. And then later on, I realized it's due to diet. So I started then doing a lot of research, again, affordability and also accessibility. So I worked then, when I left with the Virgin Active, I worked with Mouton dietitian, Stephanie Mouton. She's a local dietitian. And what I liked about her is because she's touching more on the Afrikaans tradition, and then I'm coming from the Ovambo tradition, so we combined our knowledge together, and then I came up with a 31-day nutritional guide, which is really proudly Namibian because it's touching on these cultures, and it's able to speak to a wider audience in Namibia.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's how I started, really from just a bootcamp outdoor activities. I love the outdoors, and now to a big wellness hub in Kleinwindhoek.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
You've grown a lot. Tell us a bit about your wellness hub at Kleinwindhoek.
Yeah. You know, you probably remember when we were when I stopped doing activities in the stadiums. We wanted then to do something more centralized. When we moved from Windhoek West, I needed something a little bit bigger so that I can be able to expand on wellness. So now the facility in Kleinwindhoek, it's perfect because I'm able to tap onto nutrition, fitness, emotional well-being, and also social well-being in a coordinated manner. I feel like the world is so busy and the world is so loud, and especially after COVID, I wanted to create something that can offer like a safe havens for people, where it's not too like loud music and all of these things that are stimulating the brain too much, where you can come and enjoy a healthy meal and also just relax. And I introduced then also like a recovery room, but now it turned to the B&Bs.
Okay.
So now we have 7 B&Bs. A lot of my business sometimes happen by accident because I'm like, okay, we have a need for this, let me add on to this. We have a need for this, let me add on to this. So yeah, even these juices, it just came about because I saw that people were desperate for change or some improvement in their nutrition. And
Yes.
then I decided, let me juice and put recipes together that they can just pop in.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
But I see we also have some water here. Tell us about the water.
Ah, yes, the water is something I've always wanted to do. As a small girl, I lived with my grandmother when my mom just died when I was 5 years. And I got a little bit of a culture shock because we had to carry water a long distance on our heads to take back to our grandmother. And apparently, I used to tell my grandmother that when I grow, I'm going to remove you from this village. And I was also telling her that I have to move myself away from this village.
Yeah.
So I told her that when I'm growing, I'm going to make sure that I put some water in your house, of
Okay.
which I did.
You
So
did.
when I did that, they actually told me that, do you know that you used to talk about this as a kid? Yeah. So I made sure that I actually bring some pipes into her homestead in the village so that
Okay.
she doesn't have to struggle. And then I decided, man, this is something that I didn't have a luxury of access to water as a child.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to have it and also create an opportunity for people to hydrate. And drinking water is one of the things that I promote a lot.
Okay.
I feel like we don't drink enough water. We are living in a dry country. And I think it's also a nice product to have since I'm promoting hydration. Yeah.
What
So
makes
now-
your water different?
This is ozonated water.
What does
It's
that mean?
it's put through a purification process, which adds extra minerals and just a nice taste to it.
Okay.
And the unique part also is that it's also produced in Namibia, bottled in Namibia, and it's also having a still and sparkling water.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's something that I'm really, really passionate about and really proud of. It's like a little dedication to myself.
Very good, very good.
for the hot sun, walking with water as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Tourism is a TV show that explores various touristic destinations, providing viewers with in-depth coverage of locations, events, and experiences. The show presents detailed insights into destinations, cultural highlights, and travel tips to engage both local and international audiences.
No, of course, you know, Namibians are very funny creatures, you know. Among 1,000 people that are standing,
Yeah.
you will find some that will support you.
Yes.
And then you will find some that will not support you and castigate you and whatever.
Yeah.
But I think to some extent, what has helped us only really as an association to take foot and so quickly. We are only in existence for what, 6 months? It's the personality Kawandenge, because like him, don't like him, hate him, love him. There is no way in this country where you will mention Joseph Kawandenge and a person asks you, who is he?
Yeah.
No, they will say, oh, that guy, the one of Ovirishe, the musician. The musician.
Yeah.
Oh, that one that go from this party to that party. I mean, the narrative will be there, but there is no one that will say, no, we don't know him. And I think to some extent that has helped propel Asoli for people to start taking note.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, also, I think my contribution in Parliament for the past 5 years, I'm not blowing my own horn,
Yeah.
but at least I think to some extent, Namibians also came to learn about me more in Parliament as to the value of my contributions in Parliament. And it was no surprise that two formidable ladies today joined Asoli. One of them was also a former councillor in the city of Windhoek. The time when I was serving there, Ms. Brunhilde Cornelius.
Yeah.
And the other one, Ms. Grikwa Belinda, who was also a superintendent of the city police.
Okay.
So those are heavyweights, really, in terms of being community leaders. They did not come alone. They came with their supporters and people behind them. So I think in that regard alone, Asoli is a serious association. It's not only a Kawandenge show.
Okay.
Yes.
No, very good. Tell us about your plans. I know, again, you said on the 2nd of November, a proper outlook of your manifesto will come out, but excited to whet our appetite right now with what you have in store for, especially those of us who live in this city.
Well, for starters, as I have alluded to, I did serve as a councillor first before I went to Parliament. Yes. So, and during that 5-year period that I served as a councillor in the city of Windhoek, one realized certain shortcomings. We did try to address them at the time, of course, but remember at that time, the SWAPO party was in majority. So they were fully in control of the management and all the positions. We were only relegated to being opposition in the opposition benches. But even during that time, we'll try our level best as opposition to bring forth issues and motions on the agenda of council, and sometimes they were accepted by majority parties, sometimes they were not accepted. But among those issues that are containing in our manifesto relates to some issues that needs to be amended within the Electoral Act, or the Local Authority Act, sorry. And one of those issues is the tenure of the mayor, of mayors across our republic. Because for us, we think this is really outdated. If a minister can sit for 5 years, right? Or a president can sit in for 5 years and say, no, I haven't been able to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish in a period of 5 years. But a mayor sits only for 1 year, and then you expect this mayor to do wonders. By January, the mayor is in. By December, the mayor is out. This rotational policy within our council should really be done away with.
The midterm
elections. And they are not even midterm, it's just a yearly, you know. January you are in, December, if you are not re-elected, you are out. In that period of 11 months or 10 months, what can a person really do as a mayor? And where did we copy that? From where? And why should we not go to the extent of amending that, at least to give a mayor 2.5 years or 3 years for that person to fight his feet or her feet and actually deliver. And that is one thing that is contained in our manifesto. The second one with the amendment is the question of, especially for Part 1 municipality like Windhoek, for councillors to be referred to as part-time councillors. That does not make any sense, because from our experience, the city of Windhoek councillors should be full-time employed, because the workload there at that city, it demands a full-time councillor. Because now the current arrangement is that you are sitting in your office here as an MD or whatever the case might be, full-time employed, and you go to council only on a part-time basis. When will you really give time as a councillor to your constituents? And why, for a city whose budget exceeds so many, half to the government or the national budget, why should councillors still be referred to as part-time councillor? It does really not make sense, considering the workload there.
Is that just you want that to become the national, to apply across the nation, or just in Windhoek?
Especially, I don't know the other small municipality, maybe they can manage. But for Part 1 municipalities like Windhoek, Swakopmund, and Walvisbay, if you have to read that thick book of the councillor agenda with the rezoning and what that is contained there, seriously, these 3 municipalities, especially the Part 1s, require full-time councillors. Because at the present time, these councillors cannot cope. And then tomorrow we will accuse councillors that they are not doing their job. The streets are dirty, Parakata is what. But these people, they don't really have enough time to attend to the nitty-gritty of their positions on a daily basis.
Missed the madness? Catch every sharp jab, unfiltered truth, and political punchline from Second Take, the show that says what others won't. From presidential bloopers to policy absurdities, we satirize the powerful and poke the pompous. If you didn't catch the fire live, don't sweat it. Every single story is waiting for you on Echo. Find us at 102.com and Echo, in your time, on your terms.
Moro Namibia, catch chill sessions every Saturday at 1900 hours on NTV, hosted by Michael Kayunde, for trending Namibian music videos and top entertainment news. Or alternatively, watch anytime on Echo via 1up2, your hub for all episodes.
I thought you said you were studying light. I thought you said you were studying light. It's very unfortunate that we have to talk about the negatives all the time. You know, Namibian football has so much positive stories to talk about. You spoke well about Peter Shalulile. He scored a hat-trick in his last match for the Brave Warriors. They are playing now, maybe as we speak. We also know that he became the top goal scorer in South Africa. A feat that has taken, I don't know how many years. I don't know when Siyabonga Nomvete last played.
Yes.
And everybody has come in. Nobody has managed to do that. And if you look at Southern Africa as a region, we have had the problem with strikers, scoring of goals, whether it's in South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. We've had problems. We haven't had really a prolific striker that really scores goals. If you look at the national teams, Peter Shalulile is the top goal scorer in Namibia. I think he's at 22, 23 goals. In South Africa, Penny McCarthy is also in the 30-something of the goals. In Zimbabwe as well, it's Peter Ndlovu. When last did he play? He's still the top
He
goal
was
scorer.
the first African to play in the English Premier League, and he still has that record.
He still has the record. So we've for him to achieve that in such circumstances says a lot about him. You go on to say that we are not. It's not happening anyway in our own country.
Yes, and you know, this is something we do have in common with Zimbabwe. You know, Namibia, Zimbabwe, we're not playing in
Lesotho,
our stadiums.
Swaziland.
Lesotho, Swaziland, exactly.
It's a sad state of affairs. You know, we must move on with times. This is what CAF and FIFA want. We must move on with times. We must bite that bullet and make sure that we build stadiums so that our teams can play here. We must. The government must play its role. Private sector must play its role. The football association people must also play their role. So this one, everybody has to be blamed to find ourselves at a situation where we are right now. I think it's something that can be corrected. It's not something that cannot be corrected, but it's something that can be corrected. And we need to also make sure that we have people that are at FIFA, we have people that are at CAF, we have people that are at COSAFA. We must always think forward. We must always attend these meetings to hear what the discussions are about. I read today, CAF and FIFA have said that assistant coaches also now have to have either a CAF B or a CAF A license.
Oh, wow.
So what are we doing as a country? Already with that information, what are we doing now?
To comply.
They said if you're coaching the national team or any team that's participating in a CAF competition, you must have CAF A or CAF B.
Wow.
So as NFA, what is NFA doing now to say we must upgrade the qualifications of our coaches? Some of those things that we need to look at.
Absolutely. And we'll get back into the NFA, and we're going to have a lot to talk about with regards to that. But what you've been speaking about right now, essentially what you're highlighting, is also a lack of foresight. Because one has to ask, how did we get here? Did we get to a place where we thought the game wasn't evolving? Why did we stop building? How did we get here?
Ash, I wish I had answers to that question. Lack of foresight. I mean, I just mentioned that you have people at CAF. We just said the president of the NFA being voted, being put into a committee at FIFA. When these people go there, do they listen what the discussions are there? Do they come and report to the other people that we discussed this and this and this? Well, these things, nobody just wakes up today and says, today we want a stadium to be built like this. These are discussions that take place over a long period of time.
Yes.
So it's people whom we put in these positions. Do they have the interest of football at heart? I'm sure before FIFA and CAF came up with the stadium issues, a lot of things had been seen. And I can tell you what had happened. It was the incident of tickets, overselling tickets at stadiums, especially those that don't have bucket seats. People would say oversell those tickets, and then there will be a stampede, and people will lose their lives. And then FIFA said, to avoid overselling of these tickets and stampedes, let's number the chairs, and everybody sit on the chair where they are numbered, so that even if there's anything that happens, we know, like in a plane, we will know that Eshwin was sitting on seat number what, Marco was sitting on seat number what. So that's where it started from. It did not start now. It started a long time ago.
Yes.
But were the people that were going to those meetings coming back to tell us about that. So it's not about lack of foresight. Well, these things are discussed at the high echelons of football of football management.
So lack of implementation.
So it's lack of people. It's the lack of love for the game for the people that go to those positions. They don't really come back and report that FIFA is thinking about doing this. let's already also think of how we are going to counter it.
So is it like people are seeing football more of as a business, not, you know, for the fact that it is one, a social good, community driver, and, you know, we know it's good business when it comes nationally, and we'll get into that when it comes to that. But are people just getting into these roles and just focusing on the paycheck?
Yes. That's one of the things that people do. We have seen a lot of people come into football to depend on football. You find somebody starting a football club so that they can get money from the football club instead of investing into football.
Yes.
If you look at a country like Australia or Jamaica, sports play is in the top 5 of their GDP. You will find there is your mining, there is your education, there is your what is, but sports is there.
It's right there.
Yes, because they see that sports can actually drive an economy.
Yes.
But in our instance, we don't see that sports can drive an economy.
Yeah.
We don't really take sports seriously as Africa to say sports can. We don't know anything about sports tourism. We can't link sports to education or sports to business or sports to
We're
anything.
still treating it like a hobby.
So yeah, it's a hobby to us. For most of us, it's a hobby. It's people have clubs because they want to have something to
prestige.
Yeah, for prestige.
Prestige, yes.
Whether it's football or rugby or whatever.
Yeah.
If you look at the monies that are being counted in South Africa, I think I sent you something.
Yes, we'll talk about it earlier.
So if you look at the value of the South African rugby at this point in time, it's into billions.
Oh yes,
That's how much it goes in from primary school, high school, club level, the Springboks and the franchises.
Yes.
It's into billions,
Yeah.
and that billions, the number of people that it supports.
Yeah, wow.
It's
incredible.
A lot. It's incredible.
Yeah.
If in Namibia, what is the value of the Namibian football?
We don't know.
Nobody knows, and nobody has thought about evaluating that. Nobody has thought about evaluating that to say, let's evaluate Namibian football and say our football is worth 500 million. When we go and look for sponsorship, we look for 500 million, which is
Yes.
going to cover the value of
football, what we have to offer.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can develop school fields. If you go to all the schools here, before independence, the grass was always green. It was always painted. They had proper nets, they had proper goalposts, they had proper places where people could sit. They had proper toilets, they had proper everything. But if you go to all these schools, a few of them still have that
Very few.
that green grass.
Yes.
You know,
the private schools
yeah,
will be fine, but
it's not maintained.
not
Why?
maintained.
Because we don't know the value of that field, and when
Yes.
budgets are made, it's not considered.
yes,
It's an afterthought. If there's money, yes, we'll water the field. But back then, people drill balls. There are a lot of balls that were drills in these schools. And one part got broken. They stopped repairing it.
That was the end of it.
That was the end of it. Now the grass cannot be watered.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things that comes when we talk about sports, how we take it as a country.
Yeah.
Do we take it serious or we don't take it serious?
So there's a restructuring of infrastructure that needs to happen. Restructuring, rebuilding, starting to build. But at the same time, it seems like you're alluding to a restructuring of our mentality towards football.
We should start
the
from there.
way we are thinking about football is not sustainable.
Yes, not only football, but sports.
Sports in general.
Yes.
No, definitely.
We should start restructuring our mindset on how we view sports. Like I said, there's sports tourism.
Yes.
How much can it bring into a country? If you look at South Africa, they say it's the best World Cup that was ever hosted by FIFA. And why are they saying that? It's because of the revenue that it generated in that year. It's still, I think, number one in terms of revenue generation.
Yeah.
And there are still things that you can see that came from that World Cup.
Without a doubt.
Look at how many stadiums they have. They have about 15, 16 stadiums that are FIFA standard.
Yes.
So if you ask South Africa to host any tournament now, they can do that.
100%. I mean, they're hosting us.
Not only us, they host about 4 or 5 countries.
Yes, without a doubt. Yeah. So when you talk about football tourism, you think about opportunities like currently Peter Shalulile being so beloved in South Africa. You'd assume that there's a natural alignment that would happen with for example, just as an example, tourism board, Peter Shalulile trying to get more South Africans to come here because they love him, and we do this all the time as human beings. You know, a certain figure gets you interested in a country, how they are there, it gets you attached to the country. Now, if we're put Peter to the side, if we've got a brand that we value, that we are pushing,
That's just
You see, that's why I
so
said
much.
that's why the mentality comes in now.
Yeah.
The people at the Namibia Tourism Board, well, how can they use Peter Shalulile? How can they benefit from him, and how can he benefit from them? Make him their ambassador.
Yes.
Let him promote all these places. Shoot videos with them in Etosha and where.
Definitely.
We had fires in Etosha right now. You could be the person who's driving the narrative to say, no. Yes, the animals died, but not all of them.
Yes.
We see how it's going online when people are saying Etosha is done. you
Yes,
know,
yeah, people go to the
you
far
know,
extremes. And
Yes,
yeah.
but you need a person like Peter, and then they take him there, and you shoot the video and you put it online, you put it everywhere.
Yeah, and more importantly, you need more Peters.
You need more Peters. That's very true.
All right.
So it's if we take a look at Formula One, I don't know if you watch Formula
Yes,
One.
yes, I do.
Yeah, Formula One, they go into a country for 1 week.
Yes.
Let's say they are in Azerbaijan. They go there for 1 week in Baku. It's the Baku weekend. It's a 2 billion euro industry in 1 week.
Wow.
They spend 2 billion euros in 1 week. They will fly in on a Tuesday or Monday, and they fly out on a Monday or Tuesday the following week. They have spent 2 billion. They have left 2 billion in that economy.